Hi, welcome to the Emily Morgan at Doubletree by Hilton. It was finally built in 1926. Originally as a medical arts building. It was housed over 100 doctors and nurses.
So how long was it a medical arts building before it became the hotel?
In 1984, it became the Alamo Plaza Hotel originally. And 1 year later, it changed its name to the Emily Morgan Hotel.
So where does that name come from?
Well, Emily Morgan, she's the Yellow Rose of Texas. She was an indentured servant back in 1836. Her owner was Colonel James Morgan. At the Battle of San Jacinto, she was distracting Santa Anna long enough so that Sam Houston and his troops of Texans could come in and defeat the Mexicans. And she was later known as the Yellow Rose of Texas.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not taking you to a haunted floor, so you don't have to worry.
Are you sure?
Yes, I promise.
So the hotel is haunted.
It's supposedly haunted.
Okay, we better not be here too long. And so this building is a triangle.
It's a perfect triangle. Actually, these doors are the original doors of the exam rooms.
Really?
Yeah. So this is where you would go and get your exam inside of here.
Oh, wow. So let's talk about some of the ghost legends around here.
Sure,
what are some of the stories you've heard?
All of our haunted stories come from the medical arts building. And so on the 14th floor, they did surgeries on the 14th floor. And so people will open up their doors and say they'll see a hospital scene. And then they'll close the door and then they'll open it again. It'll be the regular hallway.
What?
Yeah, we will hear that quite often.
How often do you hear that?
Maybe once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah, maybe once a month
We
at
gotta
the
go.
most. No.
We're out.
All of our ghosts are like Casper. They're friendly ghosts is what I always tell people. They're friendly ghosts. I'm the type of person, I have to see it to believe it.
So you're kind of skeptical of some of the ghost stories?
I am. You know, we serve very good drinks at our bar, and I think that some people may have had one or two too many. They did have a crematorium here, and they did have a morgue as well. The elevators are said to be haunted as well.
Ooh, what kind of stories have happened in here?
They said that they will take you to places and take you straight to the morgue. Which is where we're going now.
Which is where we're going. Convenient.
Ironically, but this area was a morgue.
This was the morgue.
This was the morgue, yes.
Okay, and now it's more of a meeting space?
Meeting space and office space, but the bones are still the same. And then we have gargoyles on the outside of the building.
These are the gargoyles.
The gargoyles, they're depicting a certain ailment that a person might have. And so they are said to be guardians of our building. And also they were advertisements back when it was a medical arts building.
Oh, so people would know what this place was.
Exactly.
Look up there, that's beautiful.
It's just amazing that they took that much time to put that much detail into it.
Well, welcome to the St. Anthony. You're standing in Peacock Alley. The St. Anthony was built in 1909 by a couple of cattlemen who took a chance on San Antonio being more than just a dusty village. They believed it was going to be the grand city that it is today. From the beginning, they established it as a luxury property. One article in the newspaper said it was furnished with the finest furniture that money could buy, and the rooms went for $1.50.
$1.50.
$1.50.
Wow.
$2 if you wanted a private bathroom. The two cattlemen sold the property to R.W. Morrison, Ralph Morrison, who was an entrepreneur. He started the first railroad between here and Mexico. He had oil and gas money, and so he was the one, the owner that made the hotel what it is today. This piano's been sitting right here since the 30s.
So why is this called Peacock Alley?
There's a couple of stories. We have Peacock Military Academy in San Antonio, and the cadets would come and strut their stuff, and girls would come and meet them here. And also, there was a front desk manager, Mr. Peacock. It could have been called Peacock Alley because of him.
A couple different legends there.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Morrison was in 1940, he added this part of the hotel. The 40s are when big bands came in to vogue. Music being broadcast every night of the week, dinner dancing, if the walls could talk here.
Right. And there's some history when it comes to air conditioning here.
Yes, in that same renovation, he air conditioned the entire hotel, and it was the first fully air conditioned hotel in the world.
We appreciate that trend.
Yes, we do. The St. Anthony Club became the place. Herb Kelleher met with his partner, Roland King, sitting in these two chairs. And Roland said, Herb, Texas is too big to drive around in. Let's start an airline. This is the birthplace of Southwest Airlines.
All in this club.
That was right here. Maybe we'll just go up to the Cavalier Library. In 1936, this is where the Texas Cavaliers were founded by Mr. Carrington.
And do they use this during Fiesta?
This is the castle. So the hotel is the castle.
And they call it the castle.
They call it their castle.
They call it their castle. Yes. Okay. I've heard that. Are there any ghost stories linked to the St. Anthony?
We tell ghost stories lobby level. Because I don't believe anybody wants to sleep with ghosts. To answer your question, we named our bar down on this end of the hotel Haunt. And we named all the craft cocktails after alleged ghost stories, so that bartenders can tell you about the Lavender Lady, which is a ghost story in my era. There was a bathroom up by the Cavalier room that we just showed you, and you could go into that bathroom and smell lavender. And you'd look under the stalls, and well, there was nobody in there, but the fragrance was in there. So obviously the Lavender Lady was in there.
I love it. I love it.
Welcome to Omni La Mansión del Rio. When you're here, you know that you're in San Antonio. It is a hotel that's on a campus, as in a college campus.
So how did this building get its start?
In 1852, the Catholic bishop in Galveston, Texas, wanted to start a school here, and he reached out to 4 French brothers of the Society of Mary, which is the Marianist Catholic society, and they came into Indianola, Texas by vote from France, and then here to San Antonio, and they built a Catholic school for kids right here on this site. This room that we're in right now was actually the headmaster's office when the school was built. It became St. Mary's College in the 20s, and then in 1931 it became St. Mary's College of Law.
So how then did it make that transition to become a hotel?
It became difficult for the campus to grow, so they moved to their current campus on the west side of town. In 1966, the story is that a graduate of the school, a local lawyer named Pat Kennedy, was standing in the Nix Hospital across the street. His wife was about to give birth to one of his kids, and he looked over at the site and thought, that'd be a good place for a hotel. The Hemisphere was being built for the '68 World's Fair. So that idea was born there in Nix Hospital.
Are there parts of that history you all try to incorporate today?
Yeah, all through the hotel, as you walk around, you'll find photographs on the wall that are historical photographs. They might be of a basketball team from 1919, or they look like bowling club in 1914. On March 1st, which is the day they started classes here in this building, we ring a bell here in the bar and serve a round of drinks for everybody.
So be here in the bar on March 1st.
It's a good day to be here.
Old hotels, sometimes they have ghost stories.
I've heard that.
You've heard that?
I have.
Have you heard any in these walls?
I have not personally witnessed any ghosts. I have been told that there's a ghost in one of the meeting rooms who doesn't like a window in that room.
Doesn't like a window?
The window would tend to crack every once in a while for no apparent reason. This is the room that has the ghost.
Oh!
Supposedly.
The room with the ghost. Okay.
It's the last window on the left, if it's true, although that window hasn't broken in a year. And by the way, the ghost's name is supposedly Little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy?
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
They think this was the gym, the exercise facility, and they think Little Jimmy, I guess, was a precocious young Catholic student. You can tell the priest is very serious in the picture.
You're looking at Little Jimmy.
That's the original building.
That's the original.
That's why it looks French, because there were 4 French brothers. These are treasures. These buildings have amazing histories.
Oh, this is spectacular. Where do you get this? Hello, welcome to the Manger Hotel, the historic Manger Hotel. This is the original wing of the hotel. So the hotel had 50 rooms when it opened. It opened in 1859. And with the exception of COVID, it is the longest operating full-service hotel in the state of Texas. And William Manger came to Texas in the 1840s as a cooper, a barrel maker from Germany. He brewed beer, and before the hotel was opened, he opened a tavern. Back in the 1850s, a pretty rustic San Antonio, so there weren't hotels to sleep it off, so they ended up sleeping it off in the tavern. They had an idea, well, why don't we build a boarding house next to the tavern?
So it was a one-stop shop.
Exactly. And they made a lot of money, and then they went to the city and said, we'd like to erect a full-service hotel. And then they opened the Manger Bar, but it was a replica of the the House of Lords pub in England, in London. When Prohibition hit in the 20s, they had to close the bar, but they dismantled all the wood and they tagged it and they logged it in and they stored it. And then as the hotel expanded this way, in the 40s after World War II, in the 60s they moved the bar to its new location, but they erected all the panel like the original.
And you've had some famous people come through here and stay, I imagine.
Oh yes, Teddy Roosevelt is probably the most famous, and he hung out in the Manger Bar before the Spanish-American War recruiting Rough Rider cavalry. A lot of people don't know it, but the Camino Royale and the Chisholm Trail actually go right through downtown. And so the cowboys and the cattle would come right past the Manger Bar. And the story goes that he and his colleagues sat in the bar, looked for an appropriate cowboy, ran out there, and recruited them to be part of the Rough Riders. We've got a couple bullet holes in the wood from when Teddy and a friend were a little overly served in doing target practice. The Manger, like many historic hotels, always claim to have ghosts, and we have guests that swear that they've been visited by people that are not checked in through our opera system. I live in the hotel, I haven't seen any ghosts.
So living here, you haven't run into any?
I haven't run into, I've had maybe some odd paranormal stuff, but it's an old hotel, it creaks. Let's go out to the courtyard. When the hotel opened, it was here, and this was a garden for Mary Manger, and she grew herbs and vegetables and a lot of the things that they used to serve food in the colonial restaurant. One of the recipes in the original menu was turtle soup, and the archives show that they fished the turtles out of the San Antonio River.
I wouldn't do that today.
Maybe not today. This is one of the most photographed parts of the hotel, and I guess I have to chuckle because it doesn't seem to be like ancient history, phone booths and payphones.
A phone? With a cord?
With a coin. You have to put a coin in a phone.
How do you get Google on this?
But it's probably the most photographed set. Kids, adults, everybody taking photos of being in a photo booth.
Of all the history in here, that's pretty funny. So how long has the Crockett been around?
About 115 years.
115 years. How did it get its start?
Well, the Order of the Oddfellows back in 1909 laid the cornerstone, which is located on the west side of our building. They originated in the United Kingdom. They built this beautiful hotel to use as a hotel for the first 4 floors, and the top 2 floors, which is just the 5th and the 6th, was used for their fraternity and for their private use.
Where we're sitting right now, I imagine this was once an open air courtyard type area.
Yes. And they brought the outside inside. And that is one of the most unique things that all of our guests love to comment on, that the Crockett Hotel has the outside inside. The Crockett Hotel, like a lot of businesses in 2020, was affected by COVID. And so the Crockett Hotel closed its doors for 2 years from 2020 to 2022.
So a lot of old hotels, they have ghost stories. Are there any here?
We did have some ghost hunters come to visit us. We were telling them that sometimes on our 4th floor, we have strange things that happen. And so actually while we were in the elevator directed itself to the next floor up and then the next floor down all by itself without us pressing any buttons.
All kinds of stories with hotels as old as this one.